Thanks again for rejoining me on the program TMI Monday. With me on set is Chief A.B. Thomas. Chief A.B. Thomas is a veteran legal practitioner and also a public affairs commentator. Chief, many thanks for joining us on the program TMI.
Thank you very much. Good morning to viewers at all.
We're also expecting the duo of Barrister Kelvin Osenhai and, of course, Comrade Muni Mike Modesty, the Secretary of NUT Edo State, to also join this discussion. I'm sure they'll be here any moment from now. 2018 ends today, and then we enter 2019. Looking back to the year 2018, how has it been, particularly from the perspectives of promises made, promises fulfilled, impact of government policies, public perception, and all that? We can just go on and on and on.
Well, if we have to look at the year 2018, it is a year most Nigerians will be praying to God that the clock should tick very fast and we should get into 2019 fast. It's a year most Nigerians will never forget. We started the year knowing very well that things were not going to be too smooth based on the merits of promises the government made to Nigerians. And up to today, we have discovered that it has not been what we were told. So many promises like the dollar becoming the same at parity of 4 naira to $1. The issue of feeding of school children. I haven't seen schools here in my own jurisdiction where children have been fed. And the ones I've seen on social media, it's like giving beggars food while sitting on the floor. The economy has been in shambles. Every Nigerian has been feeling the pinch of the economy. Most homes, in my own 62 years of existence personally, I think this is the worst year for me. We hope that next year will be a bit better. But generally, the insecurity has been a very, very terrible thing, particularly in the Northeast and in the Middle Belt. The insecurity from international observers, the number of people killed this year alone by the herdsmen is almost equal to the number of deaths in the Nigerian Civil War, which took place from 1966 to January 15th, 1970. If you leave the issue of insecurity, you move down to the educational sector. You'll find that before the year ended, ASUU all over the country has been on strike. So the educational system has been disrupted again. Then if you talk of the private institutions, most parents have not been able to pay the school fees of their children. The reason is that the government has failed to diversify from the monolithic external revenue source, which is petroleum. So we kept on depending on petroleum. And the cost of a barrel of petroleum, crude oil, has been dwindling, thereby reducing the income to the government. And that is not all. The fulcrum for which the government came to power has been anti-corruption. And we have discovered that since January, the anti-corruption has not achieved much. All it has succeeded in achieving is probably saying Nigerians display affluence in public. But besides that, we have had the minor gate early this year, a man that was sacked by Jonathan, reinstated and promoted, rather than making him face prosecution. We have had the issue that spilled over from 2017 to 2018, and no prosecution. That is the issue of cutting grass in internally displaced persons camps for $280 million naira, which was never investigated and nobody was ever punished. We have seen the issue of my sister in my state, Ogun State, the former finance minister, who had a forged certificate. The anti-corruption war did not touch her. Instead, she left the premises of Nigeria, went to England, and she was now prosecuted. Now we also have a serving minister for communications, Shitu, who openly said, I don't have NYSC certificate. You see, we have been so brainwashed to believe that anti-corruption means money, money, money. Abuse of office is corruption.
Okay.
Obtaining, swearing to false affidavit is 6 months imprisonment if convicted. And we've seen a lot of all this. Impunity is the word to describe all these lapses in part. So these are all there. And I don't think we are moving forward at all. I don't think we are moving forward.
Okay. From the breakdown analysis that you just did, it looks like it's all being gloom in 2018.
Well, apart from the little sources that are diversionary, like in football, sports, the average Nigerian don't even talk about sports now, because how many people have electricity to watch the football? So the male team did well at the World Cup. The female team did well, and this is the only thing Nigerians can cheer about.
Okay.
But as we are talking right now, 75% of Benin doesn't even have lights. So where are we going?
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thanks again for keeping a date with us on the program TMI Monday as we continue our discussions on the year 2018 in retrospect. And of course, we've been joined now by Barrister Kelvin Osenhai and Comrade Muni Mike Modesty, the State Secretary of NUT. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for coming on the show.
Dear, good morning.
Good morning.
Viewers, good morning.
Okay. All right. We had Barrister Ivy Thomas here giving us a very lengthy, gloomy picture of 2018, as it were. Well, I just wanted to conclude with the discussion on power, which is where I stopped you briefly.
Yes. All over the country, there are 11 discos in the country. There's 11 distribution companies in the country. Except Lagos, that we are hearing has been improving bit by bit, and Abuja. The rest are not going on and are not functioning properly. If the name 75% of Benin doesn't have light, you can see the adverse effect. It has got to do with even what the television systems are doing. And since July, it appears there has been no governance because it has been all politicking. And that has had a very adverse effect on the monitoring of this discourse. So generally, Nigerians are just as if we are abandoned. And if what is going on this year is anything to go by, I pray that God Almighty will come into Nigeria physically and do something as from tomorrow.
Okay. Mr. Kelvin, let me come to you. What in your opinion, has been the situation with 2019 in terms of the challenges, and what's the level of response to these challenges from your monitoring of government policies, programs, and initiatives to make lives more meaningful for Nigerians?
2018.
2018.
Yes, 2018, yeah.
Well, let me start on this note. 2018 has been what the typical Englishman will call a topsy-turvy year. It has been filled with so much drama politically. Then in terms of governance, I want to say that it has been a year that Nigerians are so much in a hurry for it to come to an end, with the hope that 2019 will get new hope and new promises. Well, in terms of governance, at the federal level, there has been so much talk about Nigeria having improved in terms of food security, Nigeria having improved in terms of social security, that what we had prior to prior to the coming of this present government, in terms of security in the northeast, in terms of challenges, where you had IPOB in the southeast, where you had Nigeria Delta militants in the south-south, all these have been reduced to the barest minimum. That is what the government is saying at the federal level. But on a one-on-one basis, by the time you interact with the average Nigerian, they will tell you there's not much difference. Though you might say at the beginning of the year there was so much insecurity, incessant killing by herdsmen, farmer clashes and all that stuff. But towards the end of the year, say from September, there hasn't been much of that anymore. We don't know the reason for that. So the government might say, well, they've been able to checkmate or reduce to the barest minimum the issues of the farmers and herdsmen clashes that led to series of killings and retaliations and all that stuff. So the government might want to take credit for that they brought it under control. But the average Nigerians will tell you that they still feel that sense of insecurity. So in terms of security, Nigerians cannot tell you that the government has achieved much. And I cannot say that too. Do you understand? Yeah. So I think basically the present government at the federal level hasn't done much. I was one of the persons who rooted seriously for this government. The expectations have not been met. Nigerians are still struggling. If you look at socially, look at Benin, for example. The whole atmosphere is one of we don't practically know where we are going to.
Despondence.
Do you understand? There's so much despondence on the land. People are just moving as if they just take one day at a time. You can't. In Nigeria, you can't plan. There's no long-term planning an individual can make because you don't know what policies and what policies some sort the government might come up with tomorrow. You might want to plan in one direction and tomorrow automatically something else comes up. So it's one I would describe, 2018 has been a year I would describe as one that the average Nigerian has not benefited much from the government. Seriously, on that note.
All right, Comrade Mike Modeste, I know you probably will look at these from the labor perspective. I won't be surprised. But what are your thoughts in terms of impacts?
Duke, thank you for having me in here, and I want to apologize for coming a little bit late. I will not in any form deviate or depart from what my brothers have said. Instead, I will want to pour out my heart the way I feel about it.
Please do it within the
purview of the rules of engagement. And if you allow me, I will go on a sectoral basis. Let's analyze the sectors one by one. I will be quick. They have talked about defense, which has to do with security. For me, it's 0%. This year is the worst year for Nigerians. Agric, they said they are doing very well in agriculture. Let me tell you, farm mine is facing us. This year we are entering. The Benue farmers, none of them could farm. The Tarabans, none of them could farm. As we speak, in Zamfara, I'm not sure Zamfara rice will come. We are not talking about Borno. Let's just say the entire northeastern states. And these are the sources where most of our food come from. In Plateau, it has been turbulence. In fact, I can tell you, over 70% of the northern region of this country has been in serious trouble. Zamfara has been in the news. Some people are contemplating state of emergency.
The government is asking for it?
Yes. So if you talk about security, which is one of the three items the present government has, then it's 0%. It's not just there at all. In the south, yes, we can say to an extent, security is better.
And so then it would not be fair to say
0%. I say in the northern part of this country, it's 0%. But in the southern part of this country, I can say to an extent, security is a bit maintained. But let us not forget that other issues having to do with insecurity in social affairs. Today, ladies' pants are selling as hotcakes. Even the bursars for young men or men are selling for hotcakes. Foreign affairs, what is our relationship with the world? Foreign direct investment, where is it coming from? We are told that Nigeria has improved in the ease of doing business. What are the businesses that are coming in? Is it not because the businesses are not coming that we are saying they are improving? If businesses are really coming better, whether local or international, I wish we have really improved. What's our rating in Transparency International? What's our rating in Amnesty International? I will go on and go on. Our education sector, have we fared any better at the central level? 0. Look at our, let's just do an analysis of our forces, the police and all others. Are they not becoming more political than they're expected to be? A president is opening a campaign and is inviting service chiefs and others to be present. How many families can eat twice a day? Yes, I give them 10% for improving on the lapses of Shopee with the Empower. But is the Empower being monitored? Are we saying the traders' money is a good thing?
Is it not a good thing?
To me, it's not a good thing. Hold on, you ask me why. You ask me why.
Yeah.
An economy that has turned its head upside down. You are saying Abacha's loot is to be shared to the poor of the poor. How is 5,000 or 10,000 going to improve the life of the woman when the children are not able to go to school? When they cannot feed twice a day? When the brothers and sisters are all dependent on these same market women? Instead, why not float a microfinance specifically under the SME program to make funds available to these women to do businesses with terms and conditions very favorable? If you have made about $100 million available for this purpose, why not open up under the SME program, liberalize the conditions and terms of obtaining loans? If possible, you can even make it available at 1% to them. Good amount of money. Let them push it into the economy and turn around, because they are very good in turning around a lot of this in the economy. So why we see it as a political consideration from the side of the government that believes in transparency, of which I am not seeing transparency even in the traders' money, because many of these funds will filter away. I see it as an avenue of getting the funds of the public into private hands, directly or indirectly. Now, let's come back home. I am concentrating my efforts on the central government. Most of the state governments are doing well within the limit of available resources. Many state governments are doing well. Politically speaking, Nigerians are more divided today, not even whether religion or otherwise. Nigerians are more divided today than ever before. Distrust is the order of the day. An organization that you even need to prescribe, the so-called Miyetti Allah, that has been so much involved in all these atrocities, are the ones who are coming out to say we are adopting candidate A. And a lot of flippant and inflaming utterances have been made, no action taken. IPOD, they sat on their own, they didn't kill any Nigerian. They didn't go after Nigerians. We went and made them a terrorist organization, so to speak, in quote. We have decimated the Boko Haram. Boko Haram is no longer in existence. Now we are being told by the military that Boko Haram has drones. Now we are being told over 100 and something policemen allegedly absconded, or they have been dismissed from service. A lot of things are coming out. All hope is not lost.
Okay, I like
because
I like
as far as I'm concerned,
yes, I like that.
It is the type of leaders a people want that God will just sometimes give to them.
Okay.
But political consciousness must be the order of the day.
All right, we'll come to that because it's very vital. We'll come to that. Pastor Ibe Thomas, he adopted everything you said and added more. Could it have been better? Could it have been better? I mean, with the present administration, by your own assessment?
Let the present administration stop blaming past government and focus on the programs they promised Nigerians. It would have been better. When you keep on doing the blame game and you have no time to sit down and plan for Nigerians, you keep on looking backwards. You cannot run forward. It would have been better if they focused on what they promised Nigerians. Secondly, it would have been better ab initio, right from day one, when the National Assembly leadership was elected and didn't favor some members of the ruling party. It would have been better if they allowed the sleeping dog lie, as it is said in our ways here in Africa. Rather than allowing the sleeping dog lie, the ruling party spent a greater part of the 4 years fighting themselves, thereby denying Nigerians the dividends of democracy. If you are fighting, APC is fighting APC in the National Assembly. You are fighting the Speaker. You are fighting the Deputy. You are fighting the President. You are fighting the Deputy Senate President. Bills that would have gone far to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians suffered in the National Assembly. Government fighting government. Then, 2, even when they thought it right to begin to elect a chairman of their party at the wee hours of the government, that again delayed vital developmental policies. What it should have done in 1986 and 1916, you are doing it in 2018, so close to election. And that acrimony has simmered, not only from the federal government itself, but to some states that are now called pariah states like Imo, my state, Ogun State, and some others. You're fighting yourselves, and no governance is taking place. It's all politicking. But if the government had put, the government came in and for almost 6 months, they had no ministers. It's like people were not prepared, were not prepared for governance. So if they had been prepared to govern this country, and they had programs, not promises, they had well thought out programs, it could have been better. It would have been changed, it would have made a difference in the lives of Nigerians. I can tell you, I told you my age just now. I'm 62 plus. I have never suffered in my life the way I have suffered this year. I have never been able to go since 2015 for my medical checkup abroad. The facilities I need for my medical checkup are not here. And we are not spending the money here to provide UPTH closest to me with the facilities that I can use in checking myself. But the man who came in and said, I will never go abroad for medical checkup, he has been going abroad. But me, who voted, I can't get the same facilities. So I have been suffering and suffering and suffering. My household is suffering. My community, where I have been in Germany for 14 years, I know what I have been trying to do to alleviate. We don't have light in my community since September this year. And as I'm talking to you now, I am pumping water for people to get water, at least. If I cannot give you rice, if I cannot give you chicken, God forbid I'm not a politician. I'm at least a member of a community trying to reduce
poverty and
hunger
in the community.
At least if I can't give you those ones, I am pumping water. At what cost? Yesterday I had to buy 25,000 naira petrol. And there is no indice, there is no evidence that this year will be better than 2019. Anybody wishing it is a mere spiritual.
You already sound like a prophet of doom, Pastor Ebi Thomas. No, because Tony, Money Mike said there is hope in all of this. Yes.
If I may please just conclude.
No, you concluded. Let me come back to you.
I'm telling you that if you are wishing, it's like what Tice Lawyer wrote in Practical English, Book 5, when we were in class 5. He said, if you wake up this morning and wish, it is titled, May Your Road Be Rough. He said, if you wake up this morning and this January 1st, and you hope that you will have a happy new year, he said, may your road be rough, for you're not being realistic to yourself.
Okay, let me pause it there. Pastor Kelvin, because we must be able to correlate promises made, actual realities on the ground, and how people are feeling the impact of government. It may not be 100%, but at what percent in your assessment?
Well, I would say on how people are feeling the impact of government, I would say 40%. Let me tell you why. I am not one of those who will always want to drag Nigeria back to say, the past government didn't do this, they didn't do that. But you see, the truth is this. Whatever will prosper a person, whatever will prosper a community, whatever will prosper a society, whatever will prosper a nation, takes a lot of time to build. Now, the process of building, the process of laying that foundation is always very tough and rough. I said the year, the Englishman would say it was a topsy-turvy year. My learned senior just gave an example of himself. But I can tell you that there are some Nigerians who are seeing rays of hope, who are seeing a better future based on some certain foundations that have been laid by this government. You might say, no. People say, look, the trader money issue is politicized and all that stuff. If I tell you the hope that 5,000 naira, that 10,000 naira gives to the average market woman, some of the market women you are talking about, their wares on the road is not up to 3,000. Now they come and they collect 5,000 naira per month, and you say that's not giving hope? That is giving serious hope. And do you know what that's done to the microeconomy? You know what it does? It gives it vibes. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not because if you put to, like for example, my friend was saying that we should set up a microfinance bank and all that stuff. They've done things like that in Nigeria. At the end of the day, the big men, the politicians always hijack it. Just the way they hijack employment in certain establishment that we don't know about. If you go and create a microfinance bank, like the way they created People's Bank those days, the big men will use their connection to collect those money from those banks, because first and foremost, the ordinary market woman on the street that is selling tomatoes and all that stuff will not be able to fill the application papers. She will not be able to even get the application paper in the first place. Now, the requirement of obtaining loans, whether from a microfinance bank or anywhere, it's always very tough. But right now, the government takes this money and they go directly to the people. All you need to do is have an account. The money is the cash. All you need to do is have an account. So, but because of the level that we are in, we think it's nothing. But for the ordinary Nigerians, it's so much. And that is hope. And that is what I see in 2019. Like I said before, this government missed a lot of opportunities. Okay. They could have written the president of the could have written a very good report of itself if it has concentrated on the issues that were outlined. But like my senior said, there was so much infighting, and that one distracted them from governance. Then the middle of the year, the campaign and all that stuff brought a lot of distraction and upheaval in the body politic of the country. Okay. And at the end of the day, government lost focus. Okay. But I can say that it is not all doom in 2019 for Nigerians. There's so much hope and there's so much expectation that things will get better. And Nigerians, we have shown the capacity that any government or any group of persons in government that do not perform can be changed. Whether a city president, a city governor, or a city legislator can be changed. And Nigerians have that opportunity in February. Okay, we'll come back to I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I will come back to you. I can give you, but I just note it down. Comrade, is there no sense in making reference to the past years where things were not done properly, which set foundation for the challenges that confronted this administration? Is there no sense in it?
Before I answer that, quickly allow me to respond to what my brother has said. I completely agree with him that we are all entitled to our opinions. As far as I'm concerned, politically speaking, traders' money is yet another vote-buying methodology. It's yet another vote buying. I am telling you authoritatively. I'm talking to the public. Yes, why now? Why now? Why now? Why now? Now listen to me. So you said Shopee. Hold on. Yeah, no, Shopee have been this show. That's why I said the Empower program, as far as getting people employed. This one may be a segment of it. That you have national resources put together, people are not working for it, you are filtering it away. Underneath it, political, hold on. Social security, hold on, my brother. Yeah. How much of such fund is going to those peasant farmers who are supposed to be producing food for us? How much of such money is going to them? Hold on now. Kevin, how many farmers in Edo have access, grants? We give you a period of 3 years. We are advancing ₦1 million to you. In the next 3 years, turn out something. We are not telling you to pay any interest.
But you must return the money.
Because you will return the money, or we reissue the money again, judging by what you have developed. What stops the first central government from saying, Abacha's load has come, every state will give you this. These are the specific projects they must go to. Agriculture. Mention it to them. Put up a kind of...
we've seen that with the Paris Club money that didn't really yield.
Paris Club money, listen now, listen. What was the mechanism on ground for the central government to deal with those states who went contrary?
Okay.
But because of political affiliation, they couldn't do anything. Because most of these people don't say political party. So you say nothing about it. I'm not a politician. I am a true Nigerian who will say it the way it is, according to my own perspective. No matter who's ox, is God. Now, making references to the past. No history, no events, no history. Is it not always said?
Yes.
Must we continue in sin that the grace of God shall abound? The mantra under which this government came into power is yes.
One more time, so I can continue to see.
So the mantra of this government is change. Is that not so?
Oh, yes.
Though they did not qualify whether it was going to be positive or negative. They only just said change. And Nigerians felt they were tired. Politically speaking, a section of the country also felt we do not want to be further told to be waiting. That was how everybody. But let me tell you, the present government, so to speak, with all due respect to the party, they were not prepared for governance.
I said so before.
The party was not prepared for governance.
That's obviously subjective.
That's my own opinion. I'm entitled to it. And I'm only apology to anybody about it. So what I'm saying is, the APC are talking about, my big brothers are there. My big sisters are there. All the political parties, I have relations everywhere. I have relations in all of them. If you want me to be politically analytical, I will tell you, over 70% of APC are PDP members. So what are we talking about? Hold on, my brother. Hold on. I'm not the type of, you know me, I'm not the kind of person that sees white and call it black. I say it all the way it is. So continuous blame of past government. Now, is that the issue we are talking about? Past government gave Nigerian workers minimum wage. Obasanjo did. With Obasanjo, people were able to buy cars and build their houses. It was Obasanjo that made me to be able to build my house. I bought my first car. Jonathan did. Abdul Salami as a head of state under the military did.
This government is...
Hold on now. My brother. Where are we? Corruption. Mr. Integrity, according to Mr. President, that he ought to be. To me, he's not. Why? We will ask. Corruption battle they are fighting is one-sided. And the day you cross over, your matter is silenced.
Even if you say it's one-sided, those being fought.
Hold on. How many convictions?
Is there any allegation?
Hold on.
Look at
The interest. The interest of Mr. President genuinely is to fight corruption.
Okay.
But Mr. President, maybe by age and some other circumstances, is not able to overwhelm a lot of people surrounding him. Let me tell you the case of Obasanjo. When Obasanjo was in government, have you forgotten the IG then, how he was dealt with? Even his own friend, who was the minister, Afolabi, died as a result of the persecution.
In the prison.
Many ministers were in trouble. Okay. But we are not saying that all these people are saints.
Yes.
But we must be seen to be doing it objectively.
All right, Barrister Thomas, yes. You need to say something.
To my little friend.
Barrister Kevin, you are in trouble today.
That foundation is really what foundation? Governance is a continuum. I want to borrow General Gowon's statement. And if you allow me, I'll quote him in extenso. He said, please, Buhari, stop complaining about past governments. He said corruption is in every Homo sapien. He even went biblical and said when God created Adam, there was no Eve. Corruption started from there as soon as Eve came in. He asked, every government is supposed to come and improve the life of the citizens. That is why he contested. Was there no corruption when he himself go on, build first stack? He was saying this. Was there no corruption when Babangida built Third Mainland Bridge? Was there no corruption when Murtala Mohammed set up Rotimi Williams Committee to relocate the federal capital to Abuja? Was there no corruption when Obasanjo came, brought GSM, brought other things into Nigeria? Was there no corruption when Yagua, for the short period he stayed, may so rest in peace, brought this issue of bringing money together into one place? What is that called?
Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Sovereign Wealth Fund. But was there no corruption when Jonathan began to tap federal roads? And when Jonathan, this road from Auchi, from Benin to Auchi, was Jonathan's project. Jonathan brought people to start doing, modernizing our railway system. There was corruption. Now, I have not seen
and these are conduit of corruption.
Excuse me. Even if they are conduit,
you were conduit of
even
corruption.
if you were conduit, you lay your own program. Stop taking us backwards.
Or lay your own conduit.
You lay your own conduit.
We can continue like that.
Excuse me. What foundation are you laying? If by February, Nigerians like me, not you, say, look, I'm tired of suffering. We are tired of suffering. We want another change. But this time, a different change. Positive change. And this government leaves. So what your foundation you have been talking about, if they will come again and say, we're laying foundation, we will keep on laying foundation, laying foundation, laying foundation. I am interested in going forward. I don't want to be going to America and England again for my medical checkup. I want government that will equip UBTH, equip all the hospitals. The money they are taking is too much. Start with the senators, start with National Assembly, reduce their money, share it to the teaching hospitals.
All these achievements that you recorded, I'm coming to you by
yes.
All these achievements that you recorded, what was the duration within which they were achieved? Talking about Babangida, talking about Gowon, talking about all these people. Isn't that a factor?
It's not a factor. Because let me tell you, like my comrade brother here said, which I told you before he came, these people were not ready for governance.
No government.
If you, excuse me,
no.
If you did not expect to win, you have zero plan. If you ask me to come here today, I planned yesterday to come here. You must plan. If you have not planned, and all you are doing is fighting yourselves, vital time is wasted. Whether PDP rule for 16 years or not, the issue is the 3 years you have had. What are you commissioning? Jonathan's programs? What have you done on your own? This road leading to ITV was not made in a day. It was planned for. And if I keep on taking the little resources I have, unlike you can see the suit my breast way, because the money is coming from parties. I don't have it anymore. If I keep on taking this money I'm taking, and I keep on going abroad for my medical health, our president, I know he would deny it. Our president's son had a bike accident. He was thrown to Germany.
How much was the cost? What was the cost of the bike?
On it.
The cost of the bike alone.
At UCH Ibadan, UBTH Benin, or Enugu.
Buhari died, Shagari died in the National Hospital.
I was 16 years to have done all those things.
16 years?
And that 16 years,
I
was going abroad.
I was not taking my money from politics. I was taking my money from...
No, I didn't say that.
You know,
all right, let me pause you now.
We have gone too backwards.
All right, Pastor Kevin.
Yes,
yeah, because is the amount of time a factor?
It's never.
Listen,
yes,
it's a big factor. It's a big factor. You cannot take that away. Let me tell you something. My senior was trying to say that we lay foundation. Look, if foundations were laid by previous government, then there would have been something to build on. Now, if foundation was laid for railway properly, Nigerians will not be talking of standard gauge. We'll be talking of speed rail by now. There was nothing laid. Are you getting the perspective from which I'm coming? If I'm going to build a house, and I go and I find that the foundation has already been laid, except that house, the foundation was laid, does not suit what I'm going to build. If it suits it, I just continue from there. But where I have to go back to the very beginning, because what was laid was faulty, then you cannot expect me to complete.
So it was laid.
Pastor Kevin, please go ahead.
Yes.
Pastor Kevin, go ahead.
I'm trying to say that, look, the issue of saying don't go back to foundation, no, you cannot say that. Because we cannot, Nigeria has a faulty foundation already, and we are all agreed on that. Nigeria has so that is why I feel that this government, despite the slow pace and all that stuff, has achieved a lot. You might not believe it. I'm telling you, you might not believe it, but it's beginning to manifest. For example, I want to say this without mincing words. In the course of my business, the course of my practice, I have come to see a change in the attitude and way Nigerians react. There are some clients who will come to you before, they will throw, when you tell them, look, this is how much it's going to cost, they will throw it at you without even batting an eye. But every Nigerian now has to account for every cover. You might say because things are tough. No, because Nigerians are beginning to have value for everyone. There's no longer free money. And that is the biggest problem. Most of us in business, we are complaining that this country is bad, this country is bad. It's because we are not, our clients and our business associates do not have free money to come and throw at us anymore. The era of driving a bullion van, backing it to a central bank and loading naira into it and taking it to Ekiti for election or anywhere is no longer happening. Nigerians are not happy. Majority of Nigerian businessmen are not happy about that.
But there's a digital way of doing that now. No, listen, you just transfer the money directly to the account.
You know that with your phone. For the first time. Do you know for the first time, sincerely, 72 billion naira. No, 7 billion naira was left in an account. The High Court has just given the EFCC an order to take that money. Owned by Nigeria, he refused to come out because he cannot explain the source of that money. These are the things, foundations we are saying that have been laid. You might not like it, but for those who work genuinely for their money, for those who take their time to earn a living, they value every 5 naira, every 10 naira, and that I think is a good foundation that is being laid. Nigerians should learn how to work and earn their living.
Okay. All right, comrade, just in relation to that, I want to ask you this question, which is that so much has been recovered, even though we don't have a clear-cut idea how much. What is the justification for the borrowing that we have seen with the present administration to fund budget, to do projects from China and other sources?
Duke, before I pick on that question, let me have a kind of... I have something to say. You say one thing. My brother Barrister just said...
No, mention his name.
Okay.
I mean, Barrister
Kevin said that foundation wasn't laid by the past government. And I'm also happy to inform you, Nigerians know, that virtually all the projects that this present government is showcasing as achievements were all projects that were initiated by the last government. Though some people will argue, why not do your own? I am one of those who is very happy with this government for continuity of project. In that aspect, for me, 80%.
Okay.
80% that they had to continue because they discovered that those projects, as initiated by that government, were very worthwhile projects. They should continue with some other worthwhile projects spread across the federation.
Okay.
I'm happy with that. Then borrowing. Okay, before I even go to borrowing, you are a lawyer. How do you assess this government in terms of the rule of law, court decisions and actions? Hold on. Almost 3 years. People have been, rights have been taken away from them. Courts have given orders for people to go on bail. Government will say no because we are still in 1983. People are just be put behind the bar, so to speak, against their wish and the wish of the court of ECOWAS and even Nigerian courts. That aside, the borrowings. We have been told that billions of dollars have been recovered. What are these billions of dollars? How has it impacted on the lives of Nigerians? Trillions are now, we are now quoting trillions borrowing from different sources. Are our roads better today? No way. Our roads are not better. I am somebody who transverses the length and breadth of this country no less than twice every year.
But they are very much improved.
Hold on. But even in the northern part of this country, the deteriorating level is so alarming, even worse than the southern part of Nigeria. I know what I'm saying. Now, I had the opportunity of being in the forum in Abuja, and I told some friends who were with me, I said, for me, this road infrastructure of 18, if I were to be in government, it would have been build, operate, maintain. Involve the private sector heavily. You will see another road in Nigeria, federal road in Nigeria, that will have potholes. Terms and conditions were defined.
Okay.
The contractors will continue to maintain such roads. Even rail system. In the United States, government didn't start the railway system. Businessmen started it. Yeah. Businessmen. Oh boy, come. Your factory is located somewhere there. Mine is here. Let me take you from here to your direction. Other guy, yours. Let's put us together. Let's extend it. In advanced nations of the world, government is good at formulating positive policies, bringing regulations in areas that can be regulated. All other activities are left in the hands of the private sector and always checkmated. But here, all powers are concentrated at the center, borrowings every naira, then trillions. You start hearing trillions as if it's just not one naira. The impact of the trillions we are not seeing, we are not feeling. Sovereign wealth fund account, I'm not sure why they even still have any money there. China Exim Bank, they quote out different types of banks here and there. I'm not seeing anything. So what we are saying is this: the billions of dollars they have recovered, kudos to them that they're able to recover billions. EFCC was initiated by Obasanjo. ICPC was initiated by Obasanjo. Hold on now, hold on. If you ask me who is the toughest president in terms of corruption, handling corruption, Obasanjo is.
Yes, you're right.
That is my opinion.
Okay.
Because there are empirical
evidence
on ground
to back that claim.
But what you are saying, listen to me, my brother.
Yeah.
Court-ordered trials. APC chief to ABC. The EFCC go into action. Nothing is done. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in this country. Do you want me to start mentioning names? If I have to give instances, I will mention names. I don't want to mention names. I will mention names.
Don't mention it.
There are 7 ministers.
Can I proceed there?
There are 7 ministers in this present government.
Yes.
You know them, former governors.
That what now?
That even there were during cases, even when it has not been said by the court that this person is guilty, that would have expected a president of Mr. Integrity to say, gentlemen, step aside.
What was the law of Nigeria?
Hold on now, my brother. We are talking of morality.
No, you can't break the morality. We're talking about.
They are not. Listen now. My brother, listen to me.
Let's answer the point.
Let me get
the point so that we can take it in turns.
Let me tell you, no matter how a law is fashioned, and that law contravenes morality, for somebody who has integrity, you can say, I'm not sacking you. Please step aside. Go and answer question ABC. Go and answer question ABC.
Okay, let me proceed. So, I'll come back to you. Yes.
No nation functions without rule of law.
I agree with you, sir.
This government does not believe in rule of law
at all.
It does not believe in the constitution is what to uphold.
Mr. President has even said so in the public.
10 times federal high court ordered the release of your former NSA. That's okay. Did your president
your former NFA? Your former
NSA.
So let's not make this personal. So give it to your boss. Yes. Former NSA.
Yes. I say your former NSA.
Not his former.
Now the government is not obey. Our good president, we want to address Nigerians. He will either go to foreign country or give audience to BBC in Hausa language, not in English. My little friend was talking about money traders being given here and there. It's unconstitutional. This government does not believe in the constitution. It does not believe in the rule of law. The constitution of Nigeria, which is a grown norm, which Malenebra is too much aware of, all revenue coming to the federal government of Nigeria must go into the consolidated revenue fund.
That's true.
So if the government is retrieving money, recovering money, question number 1, how much have been recovered by this anti-corruption government? 1. 2, the whole money recovered, where are they? 3, how much is the interest that has accrued on this money, if any? 4, what projects were executed with them? 5, were they appropriated for by the National Assembly? The losses, that was how it must be. This one you are not taking, going to market and giving women 5,000 because election is coming in February. It is misappropriation of funds because every money coming to federal government must go to consolidated revenue fund. That's the constitution. And before you can take kobo out of it, it must be appropriated for by the National Assembly, who appropriated the money Osinbajo is sharing in the market, like a personal money. Now, if you are trying to tell me you are fighting corruption, and you are blazingly in the daytime, openly, colloquial-wise, sharing money in the market, which is unappropriated for by the National Assembly, is unconstitutional. It's an impeachable offense. Now, you don't even do that. To construct any road in Nigeria, National Assembly must have appropriated for it. So this money market, where is it appropriated for? If anybody can show me, I will stop practicing. I will retire immediately.
What are you not going to be doing?
I will sit down. I am telling you, because whatever I say here, I have authority to say so.
All right, let's go to Barrister Kelvin now. 2019 prospects, in spite of all of these that we've seen.
You got touchlight.
Like I've been saying, like I said earlier on, 2019 comes with so much hope and expectations. I see a lot being done, and that lot that will be done will be dependent on the kind of quality of leadership that Nigerians choose to. This year comes with it an opportunity for Nigerians to decide for themselves. Whatever we may say here today, the decision rests with Nigerians.
Yeah.
2019, February, Nigerians have the opportunity to say, Mr. President, the past 3 years or 4 years, we have not been too happy with your performance. Whether you give us trader money or not, we have not been too happy with your performance. And we don't think you have the capacity to lead us further. There's an opportunity there. 2019, Nigerians have the opportunity to determine the kind of laws they choose to be regulated by. That is by electing proper representation, whether as senators or House of Reps. If you choose to, because somebody is your brother, who doesn't even know, who cannot even appreciate the effect of a law or a bill before the Senate or House of Assembly members, if you choose out of sentiment, parochial or whatever sentiment, to elect someone who is not qualified to go to the House of Assembly, National Assembly or the House of Assembly of each state, then you must be ready to accept whatever you say. Yeah. See, the citizens at the end of the day has the responsibility of determining the path the nation will take.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? So that's why I'm saying that, look, there's a lot of hope for Nigeria, because having seen, because just 4 years ago, Nigerians threw out a governing party that was in power for 16 years. They threw out the sitting president. They threw out majority, because PDP ruled was the majority at the National Assembly for so long.
Yeah.
They changed that. Now, 3 years down the line, 4 years coming, they have opportunity again to decide for themselves.
Okay. All right, comrade. The onus is on Nigerians, right? Particularly with the election around the corner, a great opportunity, just like he said. You want to toe that line too?
Absolutely. And I think before I will talk on that, let me also give me the opportunity to further x-ray by saying educationally, government promise school feeding program for our children.
It's happening. I mean, in some states of the north.
How many years? How many years? How many Almajiri schools have been built by this central government in the north? How many new universities have they opened? The ones that were open, are they funding them? All the universities in this country are closed today. So when you talk about the people, how has this government really impacted on the lives of our brothers and sisters? It really did not. That the past government had the opportunity of building schools and sending them to schools. Do you know that this same school feeding program we are talking about is happening in some states of the Federation? A loaf of bread that is of this size is given and shared to almost 10 children. And at the end of the day, huge amount of monies are paid. In Kaduna, billions are going up and down. A time came when the father even told himself to say, this program, I don't even think it is even worthwhile. What they do, most of the children in the north, once they have this thing, when it's time for that food, they come. After eating, everybody vanishes. Towards the south here, how has it impacted on our children? Some governments are trying to make sure the educational system is reworked. For instance, in Edo, the government is reworking the system very, very good. But it's not getting the necessary support to enable you to get to the next destination. Despite that he's trying his utmost best to do it. Now, 2019, as far as I'm concerned, I'm always an optimist. Nigerians should continue to know that power belongs to them. Our religious organizations, our traditional institutions should socially mobilize our people for the good of this country. Massive orientation and reorientation should be the in thing. And I want to say, for the governments that are doing well in this country, they should continue to do well in 2019. They should continue to do well because Nigerians will speak in 2019.
Okay.
If they like, let them pay 300,000 as traders money on monthly basis.
Yeah. But Mr. Ebi Thomas is be itching to say something. I didn't want to go through that round again. But what I'm waiting for, because
my talk, the BTC will take the class. So this is the foundation.
So what I'm saying.
It's the foundation Nigeria. Yes. For outage all the time. I don't have life until September. Let's go.
Don't bring that here. don't bring that spirit.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is this. Yes, Nigerians have their destinations in their hand up to February 16th. Up to February 16th. Jonathan said, my election is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. Are we going to have the same on the 16th of February? Will this government be ready before the votes are finally counted to say, we give up? Because if we are going to have democracy, not militocracy that we have now, militocracy is different from democracy.
We have an executive government, a democratic government now, by Mr. Ebi Thomas.
With all the conduct of 1983 still going on.
Okay, that's our show today on TMI. And interestingly, the last one for the year 2018. And maybe just in time to say your happy new year or your new year message, so to speak, in a second. Yeah.
My new year message to Nigerians remains those who have done wonderfully well in political positions. Let us put our hands together to return them.
Okay.
Those who have brought us untold hardship, those who have defamed us, those who have murdered and slaughtered and killed our people, we shall give them the ballot through a red card.
All right, Vice Kelvin.
Yes, for 2019,
yeah.
I wish every Nigerian the very best
to
keep hope alive and the opportunity to make a change. Nigerians do not bring back the looters.
All right, Vice Ebi Thomas.
I wish every Nigerian Happy New Year in advance. Please, if you have PVC, don't sell it. Go and vote. If you have PVC, if they give you money, take it. It's your money. But go and vote. Okay. Everybody should turn out to go.
That's our program for today. That's our program for today. Remember, if you collect the money, there is a consequence.
It's your money.
If you collect the money, there's a consequence if you don't do the bidding for which that money was given to you. So best, don't collect the money. Vote your mind, vote your conscience. Let's put Nigeria on the right track for progress. That's our program for today. Gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.